Right, welcome back, everyone. So excited for us to get into some gameplay with our barbaric beatdown deck, myself and Karma, and thank you again for being here. I feel like we can just do a quick recap of the deck for those who either didn't see the previous video or just could use a little bit more explanation. But I think we picked Nahiri because neither of us have too much experience with her. Um, and B, I was kind of excited for her because of Path of the Barbarian. There's been quite a lot of talk about, where this card is in the format, and I think with the combination of the second spell in Path of the Barbarian becoming a little bit cheaper, and the fact that some of the other really prominent planeswalkers, especially ones that had, with Teferi, getting some of those nerfs. I think that Nahiri, from my perspective, I've been seeing her a lot, is kind of the breakout aggro deck. So I thought it would be, it's great that this is the deck we're kind of working on and seeing how it all goes. So, I mean, the concept's pretty simple, right? And, Matt, feel free to jump in if there's anything you want to add. But I think Path of the Barbarian is a real card now. I'm really excited that this is a class card that is being considered and, that we're having to work with. Because for so long, it's been Paladin and Wizard almost exclusively, especially at the higher tiers. Yeah, you'd see Druid here, you'd see, Warlock kind of occasionally, and Path of the Barbarian I feel like you almost never saw, and now I feel like this has helped to make Nahiri, a much stronger deck. And I think, as Matt had said in the last video, the spell that really, or the two spells really, that do a lot is Axe of Vengeance, right, which is 1 mana for 3 charges to give a creature, for a full turn cycle, +1/+0, which is really synergistic with what we're doing. And the tip that Matt had shared, which I totally agree with, is you need to save the +1/+0 if you can, right, to help get your Indomitable Strength to hit, which is for the rest of the game after you've cast a spell, right? As long as at least one creature attacks with 5 or more power, you lava axe your opponent for free. So keeping the Axe of Vengeance around to help buff your other creatures to get them to that 5 power place can be really good. And we're running creatures that come in on 3 power, 4 power already, so it's incredibly easy to capitalize on that. But I think if we look at this curve, I'm pretty happy with it. We definitely had some tough decisions to make, but we've got Invoke the Dawn, which is able to buff our creatures to get a bit better of a rate on what they're doing. It's +3/+3 spread out ideally across 3 creatures. And I'm really interested to see if this does the same kind of work that it does in Kaya decks. Fledgling Gryff, real quick, right? It's just a solid flyer, 1/2 for 1 mana. Yes, it doesn't have flying on your turn, but it's just kind of a really easy, evasive creature that's cheap to put in the deck. 2-headed Hellhound. This thing is scary, man. Just the fact that on turn 2 you could be attacking for 6 damage with your your sword on this card is really crazy, and it's got some other synergies, or at least with one other card in the deck as well. We're testing Breakthrough. I think it belongs in this deck. That's kind of, I think, both of Matt and I's gut feeling, but who knows? But I think just it's really efficient. It's 1 damage to something. The 1 toughness does matter in certain cases, and just cheaply letting your creatures connect for damage, I think that's what we want to be doing. So that's, and then of course Raging Goblin, just a efficient haste creature. Don't have to spend too much time on him. And then if we look at our 2-drop package, it's kind of doing a lot of different things. So we've got Silver Griffin, which is set up to connect as an evasive creature for that also has 3 toughness to be able to block something that's attacking you with 2 power. You've got Overgrown Iguana, which is trampling in for, a lot of times at least like 6 damage, right? If you put the sword on it the following turn. You've got Sword Cannoneer, which could buff either of those, right? And give them the ability to connect for quite a lot of damage, and you get a 2/2 body out of it. And then Untamed Rage we're trying out. Now, I think this card can be quite powerful, but again, you are paying 2 mana to prep a trap that you do have to look at the board and say, okay, am I going to get this on the creature that I want, right? Because they can, maybe make a block that would make this card worse. But with Hellhound, this thing is connecting for 8 damage, right? At minimum, because it becomes a 4/2. And then that 8 damage, will trample over whatever their toughness is. And then I think the other 2 drop to mention, if we skip Shortcutter for a second, is Kor Recruit, right? It's coming down. It's potentially, a 2-for-1 creature. You give it +2/+0 with the sword, it becomes a 4/1. Kind of a no-brainer, just really efficient. And then Goblin Shortcutter just really serves as, again, another way. Also, I love the foil of this card. It's so sick. With all the stuff going on in the background.
The background of it is pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Matt, for having this ready for us. Yeah, it's really efficient for what it does, right? It's leaving behind a 2/3 body, and the effect that it does is allows us to connect for more damage. So I think Shortcutter deserves to be there, and we're also doing some cleaning in the background if you hear that. But yeah, Nahiri's Outburst. I think the only thing we noted in the last video, right, is it kind of secretly costs 3 mana because you do need to equip the Stoneforge Blade to something in order to deal the damage. But because it's not random, like the second part of Barbarian class, it is still really powerful. You're going to be paying 3 mana to almost always deal 4 damage, if not more than that. And so that's a Flame Coil, right, if we think about that. And I think on rate, that's pretty solid. And then we round out the last of the deck. And don't worry, we'll come back to this land, which I did skip over. But Minotaur, it got buffed to a 4/3. This thing, I mean, yes, can other creatures like Crab, right, early block this? Yes, they can. But again, we're thinking about the grand scheme of things, playing this after we've maybe played Indomitable Strength, and buffing it, with +1/+0 or +2/+0, it's going to get that 5 damage to your opponent's face. And it is really tough if they don't have a blocker for it. Skyknight Legionnaire, I think I said it on the last video, right? I was kind of torn on, like, is this card good enough? But I think it just is. Because it's got the combination of flying and haste. 9 times out of 10, I feel like even in the late game, is one of the best cards you can draw because it's really easy to get it to 5 power by turn 5 or 6 after you've resolved your Indomitable Strength. So just this card almost always is saying, if your opponent doesn't have an answer, deal 10 in combination with Indomitable Strength. And our last card, of course, the other signature card here is Willful Smith. Just really efficient body, right? 3 mana, 4/3, and it's going to make your blade hit for +3/+0 instead of +2, so basically any creature is threatening your opponent's life total. So,
and it can be played twice, and it stacks.
There you go. Thank you for that. I totally missed on that. Yeah, that's also really relevant, right? So, I think that it's just doing what we want it to be doing. And the last thing, although it doesn't need too much explanation here, is Emberspawn Crags, right? So at the earliest, it's coming down on turn 5, which is great because we're topping our curve at 3. And so it's really easy for us to play these Crags. If you give it a sword, right, and you give it +1/+0 from the Axe of Vengeance, you've got your 5 power creature with haste for 1 mana, or, well, I guess technically 2 with the sword. And that's just free creatures, right, that you're gaining in addition to your draw step. So we did talk about that other lands might show up, but I think Crags is kind of just got to be the best one. So that is my piece. Matt, did you want to jump in anywhere? Was there anything you wanted to touch on before we load up some games?
Well, the one thing was the burn through. It also gives, can't block, so it does help other creatures get through.
My bad. Yeah, that's probably the most important part. And I love the graphic on this too. But yeah, I think it is efficient enough. I think it does enough work between that. Sometimes your opponent can play around Goblin Shortcutter, right? But then what happens when they have to play around Burn Through and Goblin Shortcutter? I mean, I don't know that you can, right? So it also kind of has a little bit of this surprise factor of you might be able to take out 2 entire blockers from their board for 3 mana with those 2 cards alone. But
very, 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 very powerful.
Yeah. So shall we give the people what they want here and fire up some games?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's do it.
Amazing. And before the video, I had spoken to Matt and I'd said, look, I know we don't have, a ton of time each turn to talk about the plays. And aggro, sometimes can be very straightforward, but I had said, just make the play that you think that, makes the most sense. If we've got time to talk about it, awesome. But, sometimes you can be pressed for time and you just got to go with your gut. So, I'm excited to see how Barbaric Beatdown does. Let's get you even closer to Mythic. That's the goal,
Yeah. I'm actually as high as I've ever been right now.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Hell yeah.
And I do want to give a shout out to Kaya for helping me out with that.
Heck yeah. Yeah, for those who might not have seen it in the other video, Karma's been really tearing it up with Kaya recently. Okay, what are we mulliganing here?
I think we mulligan one of these and stick with that sand.
Yeah, I like that. We've got our 1-drop, we have a 2-drop, we've got a removal spell that usually is going to happen on turn 3. Oh, nice. Sword Cannoneer. And we're playing against Ashiok, so what's your gut feeling about this matchup, Matt?
I feel like she's going to be pretty easy with us being an aggro. She's very late game as far as nightmares go.
Yeah, I feel like there was a time where Ashiok was able to kind of tech for aggro decks and our opponent, may be able to do that, but I don't think that they're going to be able to stop the level of aggression that we have. So I'm pretty partial, to just playing Gryff and keeping our gem here. I don't think we need to be considering a 2-drop here where we can just keep the gem. Who knows, maybe we really are going to need it on turn 4 or 5. And
so I'm going to take this.
Yep, no point in blocking this here, and we're going to be using our life total as a real resource, as you almost always do with aggro anyway. So, okay, wizard class. All right.
Okay, so here we can do the blade and then the outburst to get rid of the familiar, or we could just attack and take him out because we got 2 health.
There are a lot of lines of play. Immediately what stands out to me is I like the fact that they don't have a good block on our flyer, so we could play Cannoneer to buff our flyer. And then, honestly, I kind of might use our mana gem here to get Axe down so we get the other removal spell in our deck and get that rolling. But we also could save Axe of Vengeance for next turn. It kind of just depends on what we think we're going to deal with here. Yeah, the attack, definitely, that's all good. And then we've got Cannoneer to block there too. What do you think?
I think we do play Axe this turn to get it out there, get the other spell in there.
Yeah, I like it. I think what you want to be doing almost always is trying to get Indomitable Strength out as soon as possible, and you can't do that if you're holding your class card in your hand. So,
yeah, I agree.
And also the second part of Barbarian class. Okay, let's talk about combat here. Yep, pretty easy block. Go for the 1-for-1, take 1. I think with Barbarian class, you just really get rewarded for playing it early, getting the second class card. That's a good one for them to have. Cost 1 mana here. And then, you get Indomitable Strength after you play that removal spell, and it just really accelerates your ability to close out the game. So they had a really efficient turn, which can happen with Ashiok, and here I think pretty. I feel like it's got.
Fledgling.
Yeah, I think we're just playing Gryff. It's unfortunate it costs 2 here. And then, because it's no cost to us, we can just equip it with Sword. Because we're not going to use mana on anything else. So, if for whatever reason that's relevant, I can't really think of a reason why, but...
Right. I mean, using the extra mana that's just going to be sitting there, not a bad idea.
Well, our opponent's doing a pretty good job of padding their life total and addressing our creatures, so that is a bit unfortunate, but...
But they don't have any more Drain Bloods.
Right. So, what's your feeling here?
It's hard to play Shortcutter without, really...
Yeah,
using the debut effect.
But we also don't have another creature, right? So...
Exactly.
Yeah, I think...
So we're going to play that.
And then
play that.
Yep.
Just to take out his flyer.
Yep.
I hate to use it on a 1/1, but
yeah, it's honestly if we didn't have Nahiri's Outburst in our hand, we might think twice about that play. But the fact that we at least have one other removal spell and we want to get Indomitable Strength, man, got that off the signature spell. Jeez. All right, Crags coming in here. That's something. And Skyknight. Well, I'm glad they've used their Drain Bloods, because that's a really great card to have.
So I'm going to play... I want to play this, and this, and attack with all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the most efficient turn. And we don't have Indomitable Strength yet, so there's no real point in holding the Lava Emberlings. Like, I think if we had Strength and we're like, okay, like, we'll probably draw it next turn or the turn after, but... Okay, I'm just going to take 6 to the face, that's fair. And then, I don't think we're ever going to think about blocking here, so...
No.
Just take that too.
Because like you said, life is a resource.
Yep.
Okay, so we can take that out.
We sure can. Oh, and we've got Indomitable Strength.
I'm not going to do Indomitable Strength right now. I'd rather take out that sneak 5/4.
Yeah, so we equip Sword and kill that. Yep. I think I guess there isn't an argument here. We probably should save the +1/+0. I was thinking about, like, how fast a clock we can put on them, but it's probably just correct to attack for 4 only.
Yeah. Because we're gonna want that for the Indomitable Strength.
Yep. Well, I think what we need in order to close out this game is maybe at least one more Emberling proc. Okay, well that's honestly, I mean, it's not good for us, but them 2 for 1ing themselves is pretty good for us overall. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just slam Legionnaire, hit him, right? Just, again, get that damage while we can, you know? And hopefully, our opponent won't answer our creature for 1 turn. Yeah. We'll see.
That has been the biggest downside this whole match. Is him just answering every...
Yeah, very efficiently.
Every turn.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
He's out of that, and that's good for us.
That's very good. Our opponent should not be happy to see it.
So Indomitable Strength, right?
Yep. What's the line is Strength into at least I would, so I think here we can actually play somewhat, not, I wouldn't say conservatively, but yeah, we get to go Strength, Emberling, Sword on Emberling, pump Emberling with Axe, and hit for 5. That's what I would be thinking about here. So we get the guaranteed 5. I'm sure they block here, because obviously that would be 10 damage total. And it's great, right? Like, this is what we talked about earlier and what Matt brought up, right? Saving your axe to be able to have your Emberling connect for so much damage is just really, really important for closing out the game.
It's very, very good. And we got this for next turn also. So this...
We sure do.
The sword, that, and then he's probably going to block, so...
All things must end. Alright, are we saying... Do they think they're going to win? I never like when people like GG before the game's actually over. But I guess they're thinking it's over, is what they're saying.
They think they're going to win, but I have a feeling that this...
Yep, it's the same sort of...
combo right here.
This should be enough, I think. Right, they take 5, they go to 2. I mean, there's just no way
then
that
if he blocks,
yeah.
Yep, he blocks. We win.
GG. Wow. And so I feel like we have to highlight the fact that our opponent literally answered every single creature, although some of the plays, like the one infest, I don't know if they needed to do that. They might have against our second Legionnaire. But the fact that our opponent answered every single creature and we still won, I mean, I feel like that's not common for aggro decks, right? Like, but Barbarian class literally gifted us 10 damage at the end of the game, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think really showcasing the power of this Planeswalker right now. Okay, well, this is...
So that guy used to be in my old guild.
Oh, they do content, right? Or
I'm
no?
Not sure. Actually,
I thought they maybe did, but
he might actually be in the server with us.
So, my feeling with hands like this is, okay, we're on the play, so we're going 1, 2, 3. I would probably fish for a 2-drop and throw back either Gryff or Goblin. And yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, this matchup is going to be interesting, I think.
It's because Goblin's got haste, right? That's why I chose him over Gryff.
Yeah, I think there's logic for both, but I would say probably having the Goblin get a free 2 damage here is more impactful. Because next turn, and honestly I should have taken a second to think about this, next turn we get to go 1-drop and suit up with our sword, which if we kept Gryff we could have done the same thing, but I was wondering if we could get a more impactful card. Okay. Alright, interesting. So we can either go shortcut or attack, or we can go Hellhound, equip with sword. What do you think, Matt? What's your gut on that?
I want to save shortcutter, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think it's better to add a body and make them want to block here with the sword on our Goblin. I mean, they probably take this trade if I'm playing Domri, but okay, interesting.
I had a feeling they wouldn't, just because they know what Hellhound can do.
Yeah, I guess I'm just assuming they had a 2-drop, but it doesn't look like they do, and that's why they didn't block there, because they want to be able to deal with.
So, I want to.
Yep.
Yep. Right, and then Outburst.
Oh, you could Outburst, or you could play Shortcutter here. I think Shortcutter gets more value because they have only 1 blocker.
I wasn't thinking of that.
Yeah, that's okay. Take 8, Domri. Oh my goodness. Hellhound, man. Good. When that thing connects... Oh, they did have the Worm's Wake. Okay. I was wondering.
So we'll chump block that.
I'm trying to think, is there... Oh, that's...
Oh, okay.
That's not how I would use it. So let's talk about this for a second. So obviously we don't have a really good block on this. We do have...
Actually, we don't. We'll just let it go through.
I think we take it. And why do you think we should let it go through, Matt? Before
we can kill him next turn.
Yeah, I mean, we just we want to use our creatures as resources, and we can take that 5 there. Yeah, you thinking...
So we take Axe of Vengeance, right? And then equip the sword, and then outburst him, and then attack.
I love it. So good.
So obviously we're gonna... This is like the time where you don't necessarily need to save everything.
Yep. No, this is excellent. They're going to 4 here, and we've still got like a haste creature in our hand, and we've got Will Smith as well. Like
Will Smith, I love how you call him that. And he can't even flip this turn.
Nope. It's pretty... Like, I think he had to have that instead of Worm's Wake last turn to have a shot.
Alright, this just made it so we win.
So, do we need to equip first to make sure?
It's the strongest. Well, yeah.
Yeah, so we do that first, just in case we hit the other guy. So we can do...
No, we can't do that.
Well, I like if you want to go, like we could either go... I think it makes sense to probably go Minotaur. And then I would put... I would just swing with everything. Like, play Minotaur, and you could either pump... You could pump, yeah, the Shortcutter. I feel like that's reasonable, because it's the worst creature. So they put the 1/1 on the 4/1, and then obviously they have to block... Oh. What?
I don't understand that.
That is just absolutely not the block you should make, I think, because you just stick the... Did they not know that our creature had a sword on it?
I have no idea. I would have blocked it with the 1/1.
Yeah, I mean, I 100%. I can't think of a logic for why you would do that, because you can block with Shepherd and your Shepherd lives, right? Oh no, I guess no. Shepherd does have to block the other one, so I guess it doesn't matter with what you block. That makes sense. Okay, so it's pretty much we're just gonna be raging and playing Will Smith, and then suiting up our Minotaur.
So rage?
Yeah, I think we rage just to kill one of the blockers. We're gonna trade for 1 here, because they have to block this, right? But that's fine, because Indomitable will kill them, right? So yeah, and we could equip because there's no reason not to. Okay, so yeah, our opponent made... It didn't really matter because both of those creatures were going to die, so... Okay, that's a good one. Puts them to 3. Alright, well, I was hoping... I didn't want to say it to jinx it, but I was hoping we would see...
Hoping that happened.
Oh! Well,
Here
that's
we go.
GG. Yep.
I'm not even going to play the Crags. I'm just going to attack.
Nope. Nicely done. Yeah. I was going to say before the match, I think Domri is slightly favored, but they have to have Shepherds. They have to have Grudge Match. And they have to, ideally, if they can, either have Birds of Paradise early or the Channeler of Might early. And our opponent did not have that. So, it's a pretty solid game. Man, these games are quick.
Yeah, they are. They're going by real quick.
All right, let's see if we can get a 3-0 here.
That would be really good, huh?
Ooh, okay. I think this is a tougher matchup, but...
Oh, for sure.
Vraska has a lot of tools to make aggro less effective, but again, I feel like Barbarian class just gives us so much. Okay.
I want to mull all of them, to be honest.
Interesting. Okay, why?
I want, actually...
I would keep.
How about that?
I would keep the Flyers and throw back Cannoneer, actually, because I think the Flyers are going to help us connect. I mean, it's a little bit awkward, but
I was thinking, like, in my mind was like, we didn't have a 1-drop, so I
that's true.
Into tiny panic mode there for a second.
Yeah, no, I think there's logic to both. I guess what I'm thinking about is like, okay, they're going to play like Grub on turn 2. They're going to play some other stuff. Like, we are going to be racing for damage, but I think the Flyers get quite a lot of mileage in this matchup. Like, if they do have Soul of the Wood, obviously it's a little harder. Okay, I like that they use their gem there. It's definitely good for us. You like Iguana over Griffin?
No, I don't.
I think it's close, because we're not going to block that, because we don't want them to get 2 cards. So it's more about, like, do we think we can use maybe Nahiri's Outburst next turn to get the Iguana through? And I think it's possible. They're only going to have 2 mana, so... Yep, we're taking this 2 probably for a while. Just never want to give them the double finale. Ugh, that's annoying. Well...
So, we can rage and then equipped and then get a bunch of damage through that way.
I like that. I think why this is good is because they're going to get 1 card here, right, instead of 2. And then when we equip, right, I would be very surprised if they don't block. We get some damage through, and again, like, they're only getting 1 card off the zombie instead of 2. I mean, if they don't want to block and they take 6, that's fine, but I don't know how you don't block here.
Yeah, if he doesn't block and take the card, then that's a win for us, right? Because then we've just got another turn for trample.
Yeah, I mean, I like our line of play there because it really forces Vraska to throw away the creatures that could be really good card advantage for them. So, and now, you know, depending on what we draw, like, we can just go Skyknight Legionnaire equip, or we could go double 2-drop.
I would say double 2-drop.
Yeah, I prefer that as well, because it just gives us the best chance of connecting with damage the next turn, because we've got 2 potential bodies. Okay, so now I guess we can kind of be thinking about Infest in their deck. Not every Vraska runs it, but it's probably worth keeping in the back of our mind that that is a card that could come out. Wouldn't be good in this board state, but...
Well, let's hope it's earlier than later. So we're going to take this, right?
Yep, we're going to take it. Definitely don't want to block with Iguana, which would be the only valid block here. Alright, well, that's a pretty good target, I think, for... Yeah, whether it's shortcut or... yeah, I think...
Actually... Well, we could outburst, couldn't we?
Right. I mean, I think there are a couple lines of play here. It's either we outburst this turn or next turn. It just depends on kind of what we prefer. I think it does make sense to... Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
These 2.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it allows us to get through. Do you want to trade for Wolf here and 2 damage? How do you feel about that?
I do.
Yeah,
I do want to trade.
I agree. Got to clear the way anyway, so might as well take your 2 damage and kill their creature.
And now they're going to be even with us. Actually, they're going to be even with us in health.
Yeah. And I think like why those attacks are totally fine is when you're running cards like Shortcutter and Burn Through, like the more creatures you take off their board, the better. So it's going to allow you to connect much easier. So they'll definitely attack. We'll just take it. And the next turn.
It's just like Kaya. The more you connect with them, the better.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Turn to Stone's pretty good.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we can do our first 5, but we'll lose the card.
Huh, that is interesting. So we would trade for this soul and deal 5. That's probably worth it to get Indomitable rolling and get the value now. Because they'll gain 3, but it takes, their best blocker. Well, I guess they could block Gryff here.
If they do, then that's fine.
Alright, so they give us another bite at the apple, unless they're going to infest.
Right, and we can also Outburst to get rid of that reach creature if we need to.
Oh, yeah, we'll take this all day. I imagine they have infest here, or removal? I don't know. Primeval Titan, okay. That's definitely a big one. Oh man. Okay, well Crag is really good to go off here. Alright, what's your thinking here?
7, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could play them all.
We could. I think what we want to do here is really utilize Indomitable Strength as much as possible. So what I would say is you play the Umberling and you do the classic like equip with sword, give it axe, and I think you just attack with the Umberling.
How about Outburst?
So you want to Outburst. You know what? I would wait because there's a chance that they block with Titan here. And if they do, then we get to kill it. Oh, no, but it's equipped with the sword. Oh, I always forget this. I keep thinking this is the other one. Well, they didn't block anyway, so. That's my fault. I think that was a little weird. Yeah, definitely play Gryff. And I think that is all we're doing here. Because we're going to use Emberling or Goblin Shortcutter next turn to try and guarantee the next 5.
So are we blocking with Gryff?
Yes. Yeah, I think we're blocking with Gryff because obviously we don't really want to take 8 here, and yeah, we need to have the 2 power for the best shot at getting Indomitable Strength off. So yeah, blocking with Gryff makes sense to me. Well, we've got some good draws off the top. This is going to be tough, but Hellhound's not really one of them. But all right. Well, I think definitely Emberling, equip with sword, pump it with axe, and then yes, we should Nahiri Outburst. I think probably on like Tusker. Use that removal spell, get our 5 damage here. Assume they're going to block with Scorpion. And then, I think just play out our Hellhound and hope for the best.
Yep. Hopefully we get like Minotaur next turn.
Minotaur would be good. Let's see.
Or even more Crags.
Crags would definitely be really, really good. Also, if we can draw the +3/+0 and trample, that would have been good. Oh, jeez.
He messed up. I'm gonna block with that Hellhound.
Oh my god. I actually don't think we do. And the reason being...
doomed.
Yeah, no, I know. So we still get it for a turn. The reason I don't think we attack here is because we want to give ourselves an out to winning the game with the +3/+0 and trample, which might be enough plus the sword, because we're going to lose this game if we don't get the right draw. Okay, but it doesn't proc. I keep forgetting.
I mean, this would be the only thing that we can do.
Yeah, it is the only thing we can do. So yeah, I guess we just do this, and like maybe by some miracle they make the wrong block. That's. But
walk with the 3/2.
Please, 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 come on! You don't know what's in our hand.
Yes.
Oh my god! Let's go. No way.
That was so lucky, dude.
I can't believe we call like that was the out, right? That was
the out.
Even though I still miscalculated some things, because I keep forgetting that interaction with the Indomitable Strength, but wow, that was that was such a good one.
Well, they didn't expect that, right?
No, they did not. Not at all. And that is the power of some of those traps. Like, if you are not playing around it, like, it really has quite a lot of value. Well, I think maybe that's a good place for us to stop. I mean, a 3-0 on a good roll.
Yeah, that was... actually, what just happened was an excellent place to stop.
Oh my god, yeah, what a nail biter at the end, and we actually top decked to get... And they blocked wrong.
That shows you how powerful Nahiri can be.
Yeah, so let's close out here. Just some, I mean, I'm laughing with joy because I just can't believe we rattled off like an awesome 3-0. But like, what are you thinking so far?
I really like it. Like I said, I haven't played much of her, but after playing with you, with the suggestions that you've given me, and with my brain,
yeah.
We pulled it off, and it was actually quite fun.
Yeah,
quite fun to do.
I'm glad, Matt, because I feel like that's the most important part. Is like you don't want to. Like, I don't get a lot of joy playing like Sarah or Teferi because they're like slow and they're kind of whatever. I know that's for other people might enjoy that. I really like this play style because it's just you're trying to apply the pressure, and then like your opponent starts responding and you're like, all right, I gotta draw this, or I want to think about how I can close out this game. I have a lot of fun with that, so I'm glad that it was fun for you too. So
it was very fun. I really enjoyed it, and thank you for doing this with me.
Absolutely. I mean, I think some closing observations here. Super happy to do this more in the future, but I like Untamed Rage, what we saw of it. We got to get there with the two-headed Hellhound combo there at the end for 12 trampling damage out of nowhere. And Path of the Barbarian just, I don't know about you, Matt, but it just feels like it gives this deck like that extra bit of gas when you're down to one card, you're top decking, and it just turns your top decks into lava axes.
Yeah, I love how you describe it as lava axes. It definitely can it can turn the tides, for one, and two, it does give this deck a pretty great advantage.
Yeah, I feel like what decks like this really needed was the ability to kind of efficiently push damage and then have some sort of way of really closing out. And with the combination of, Blitzing Minotaur getting the buff, Path of the Barbarian getting, their second spell going down from 3 to 2, allows you to get Indomitable Strength out into the game a lot faster. And just with some of the tweaks to other decks, Vraska is a hard matchup, right? That did come down to that last turn. But the fact that, there are ways for our deck to win that matchup, when I think in the past that would have been, really close to unplayable or, very, very difficult, I think that showcases the power of the deck. And we also beat Domri, which is a really, really popular deck right now. I think it is, one of the decks to beat, but I really think Nahiri is going to start earning some respect here from what I feel. So thank you so much, Karma, for being here and doing this for our first time, deck building and playing some games. And if folks, are interested, whether it's requesting certain planeswalkers, requesting certain decks, or we can look at that together. And I'm really happy to have Karma on the channel here. So any final thoughts here?
The 3 games that we got were probably some perfect games. We had Domri, who is a very aggro-heavy planeswalker. So that's one to definitely battle. The Ashiok that we played was very control-y, took out our creature every turn. We still did it.
Yeah.
And then Vraska. Vraska is just super powerful all around anyways. Very hard to beat, and we still pulled it off. So I am very happy with what we did today.
Awesome. Well, that's the most important part, and thank you for all the folks for tuning in. Always feel free to like and subscribe and comment. Let us know, what Karma and I can work on next time. I think this could be a really, really great video series to not only showcase how different players think and how we're evaluating cards, how we think about how to build decks, but also then just playing it and thinking about what we can kind of gain from giving each other each other's perspectives. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.